Thank you very much. Okay. The first poem I have is called Ill-Fitting Jacket. Open up the door and let me walk inside, humbled by years of learning over and over again and placing my pride in a wooden box, leaving it at home and carry-on trunk encased in chains and locks. Carry on, wayward son. Don't let your luck be erased, she told me over and over again, like rhymes set up on a record player till the grooves are worn in. I remember this as I walked into this noisy, crowded, ill-setting situation, this downtown nightclub set among city streets with bustling life and near enough to the closet light, closest to the light rail station. What am I doing here? Why can't I just enjoy a quiet time at home, the only sound coming from the air conditioning heating up the place? My soul is an ill-fitting jacket, such that the stitching at the seam seems to unravel, even though it has never been to the cleaners. My soul seems musty and smells of mildew, perhaps because it has been out in the rain, and in many a travel over many a mile of pain, agony, and sense of despair. It is worse for wear, as I often seem to tear new holes in it through my own sense of apathy or mistaken depression. Depression at least would be the least of my worries, but I worry every day that I'm letting people down. Down the hole I go, going where? Nowhere. No. Where? I am broken down and out, and without proper repair. I fear I shall expire and no more. No more poet. No more opportunity or possibility to work with others to see if there is opportunity for our poetic community to be more than which we readily see without the sense of propensity for growth and prosperity of ability, creativity, or opportunity. My mind is an odd-fitting shirt. I often wear it with the print "I was stupid" written, the arrow always pointing up at my face. Facing my own stupidity at not marginalizing procrastination and jumping with both feet into the briny deep to see if I could swim or drown with my own efforts. Self-made man. Well, if I made anything, it was a mess of my life, and now I am trying as hard as I can to rebuild my mess into a meaningful message that, like virtual reality, our lives can be virtually second life. I can barely afford anything other than free words that freely allow me the cost of bearing one's own fears before you and letting you know that I can afford bluntly to be honest. I am scared that I will not even be a footnote of a footnote of a footnote, and I lust for fame, wealth, all that the world has to offer, but I won't offer up the world my soul to get fame, wealth, and all. I want to show that I am here to help and to be helped, to humanize and be human, to feel humbled and to help the humbled. I have no doctorate, but the PhD in the University of Being Human. Learning has and it always will be an ongoing process. My curriculum shall not be short-lived. My syllabus changes on me, and all I can do is adapt where I can. My life is a well-worn closet of ensembles, even though I seem to be a solo. I'll live vicariously through the endurance of my own self-assembled free will, and I know that I will never give up as I continuously grow. Praise be that ill-fitting jacket. Praise be that I can always remember and cherish it. This one's called How I Stayed Ahead of the Law. How could one stay ahead of the law? By learning how to fly without wings, soaring the skies with the greatest of eagles. Oh my! When it tried to arrest me and handcuff me to the grit, dirt, and stone below, I pulled a Houdini, and away I went, floating up into the stratosphere. I find myself floating, sailing higher than those inflated balloons you find at the Macy's on Thanksgiving. So I'm floating away above any floats that they bring out every Thanksgiving as I watch the fat cats become bloating, cats who had never had 9 lives and never make the most of the one they do have. If they don't look both ways, they'll get hit by a new taxi cab. Always ask for originals, never settle for scabs. Falling through places in space, gaps in reality. Spacing out on an episode of Trading Places, your gaps where your teeth had been at our realty for royalty to plant grills with GPS trackers, keeping you controlled. Part of the herd, you heard? Word. Remote controls and nuclear batteries while assault and battery happens, so that your soul is sold like so much soul on the market. Yes, you lost control, so Rachmaninoff should have been the tip-off that something was a bit off, and you cough you're attributed to walking pneumonia was actually lying about and was cancer. Misdiagnosis put me somewhere on the ethereal plane. I'm in a trance, there is no doubt. We? What are we doing? I don't know. You seem to know more than I at this point. Point me in the right direction so I can build castles out of drained shot glasses at this joint and make a flag out of a republic of greasy, hot wing-stained napkins. One for the masses. Hey, pass the joint. Can you negate the factor? Hourly subjects count above measly pop culturally, politically urbane news spins. I don't need to flap my arms. I don't need to panic and plummet with anxiety. I don't panic. I don't clench my fist and scream with all the fear that normally should be inside of me. I numb myself, and in doing so, I should logically be sinking under all the quicksand and searching frankly for my last breath. I find myself soaring among those clouds we watch and all the lightning and thunder. My imagination is broad, my creativity grand, and I choose to not only stop flying when I have my last breath, old and gray, and unlike Icarus, I will avoid the heat of the sun and the crippling burning that will take away my flight and revert me only back to being a man. No, I stay ahead of the law and constantly refigure my destiny by constantly reimagining my plans. These are my shorter poems. Okay. This one is in dedication to Syd Barrett. Syd was a member of Pink Floyd, and there's an album called Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd, and they dedicated it to him. It's one of the few Pink Floyd songs, Wish You Were Here, that really kind of just grabs you and holds you. And a lot of songs these days, you can kind of set a date to, whether it's Generation X song or early punk song or something like that. But the song that they wrote was pretty timeless because it talks about people you miss and you'll never see again. And I run into that a lot. But this is called Syd's Return. There's a spot on the back of the sun. Cancerous? 2 more spots than there are none, chilled by the coldness of space. Distance is to the swift and not necessarily the race. We often can't see it. We often remain adrift, wondering if the afterburners are burnt out when all the while we have put off our necessary shift. And pretty soon we find ourselves realizing that there is no reality, no heaven out there, and certainly no hell underground. We are explorers. Lewis and Clark, astronautical warriors. Yeah, right. We can't lose sight of what we truly are, what we truly must admit. We are the cosmic children cleaning our messes, finding ourselves karmically set on the course of astral trespass. I itch, grainy compounds textured into a gnarly beard. Am I alive? Am I dead? Pretending? It just feels so weird. There is no matrix. It's all more a cobweb. There's no Morpheus. We may not just wake up, and this life may be our dreams of the constantly stillborn. Carbon life forms going into antimatter, not alive, but also not necessarily dead. My mind is splintered, my eyes fractured into prisms seeing more colors than are named for. What's wrong? What's right? Who cares? I select the doors from whence life existed to find out where it all began. And if the darkness of this environment scares my soul, then maybe I need to spark a star and see where the very gods stand. We are explorers. Lewis and Clark, the astronautical warriors. Yeah, right. We can't lose sight of what we truly are, what we truly must admit. We are the cosmic children cleaning our messes, finding ourselves karmically set on the course of astral trespass. Yet warp drive, but better yet, drive my consciousness into warped frequencies. Let the hyperdrive of my subconscious post this mothership into unknown galaxies. Area 51, 51 flavors, coincidence? Who's to say that karma is not coincidental, but intentional, like the very carbon compound that ties my very energy to the sun I'm observing, worshiping, constantly disturbing with my minor transcendental meditating, chanting, blatherings of a vocabulary that is very limited, unlike this outer expanse, so forgiving, and yet so mercilessly unflinching in its dominance. A universal ocean of astronomical, perpetual, and pestilence, birth and death coinciding with such a balance that to disturb it would wake an angry force, so brutal, so mighty, that even those of us who think they are calloused and confident of their own constitution would be like babes crying out for shelter from that very flaming storm. We are explorers, Lewis and Clark astronautical warriors. Yeah, right. We can't lose of what we truly are and what we truly must admit. We are the cosmic children cleaning our messes, finding ourselves karmically sailing on a course of astral trespass. Thank you.